A lot of real estate experience, just like yourself. Justin, where you from? I know, obviously, but
for those from Sacramento, South Sacramento to be exact.
Okay, there you go. And how long you been in real estate?
I got my license in 2019, and then I went full time in 2020.
There you go. There you go. What are your thoughts on the market right now?
My thoughts on the market are focus on getting listings, building relationships, and advertising, doing what you got to do to have those conversations.
There we go.
We can't really change certain things, so all we got to do is roll with the punches and do what we can and implement ourselves to make some progress.
There you go. If you could define what real estate investing success looks like for you, what would that be?
To get my first deal done, that's what it would mean for me. I would start there, just going through the process, whether it's a wholesale, whether it's partnering with someone, whether it's me just being a realtor on a connection that I'm able to make with one of y'all, so I can see the whole process.
Good.
And then from there, starting my own situation to where I can actually be the head on it, where I can get the client, make the money, do the whole process. So just doing one for me is success.
Right. Well, I'll tell you something. Zach, Gerald, IG, me and Justin, we got a lot of mutual friends, grew up in the relatively same area. And I'll tell you, Justin, one of the key things I'll tell you, obviously you can do. You got anybody coming out of Sacramento could do it, but anybody can do it, right? But on top of that, connecting with people like Gerald and Zach, they work heavily in the Stockton, Modesto, and Tracy area, right? And that's where you're going to find the cheapest local real estate. That's where you're going to find all the deals. And so the leg up already today is making these connections, because it is the right connections. And so when we're competing like in Sacramento, there's not a whole lot to have had, right? But making these connections with these guys that find them off market, those price points are lower, they're more abundant, you can strike, and then you got the support. So honestly, if you walk away from anything today, you got to get up the stock and have coffee with one of these guys.
Okay.
All right. We're going to dive right into it. So last week, the week prior to that, we talked about realtor.com, setting up that profile. Last week was more about funding, right? How accessible and realistic it is to get funding. You don't need money to get in real estate. There's a lot of money out there, a lot of people that will invest with you if you have the right presentation, profile, experience, or connections, right? But it's all about a deal. This is Deal Mastery 101. And I always double down when I speak with people in my community, how important it is for them to understand that, sorry about that. It's all, if you find a good deal, anybody in here will connect with you. If you find a good deal, I'll go half with you. If you find a good deal, I'll put the money up. Many people will do it. If you find a good deal, you can ask your mom to borrow out our 401k. The money's out there. The deals are scarce. More particularly, Justin, like we were talking about in Sacramento. Again, I like Stockton, I like Modesto, I like a few other areas. That doesn't mean we can't find deals in Sacramento or anywhere else, though. So today is all about exit strategies, right? When investing in real estate, it's so important to understand once you get into a deal, before you get into a deal, what is it going to look like as you exit, right? And there's a variety of different exit strategies. Zach, give me an exit strategy. You there?
Yeah, putting it on the market would be an exit strategy.
Absolutely. Gerald, you got an exit strategy?
Buy and hold.
Good. Justin, what do you got? You got an exit strategy?
You could wholesale it.
You could. Good. You're hitting it. So, what is an exit strategy? An exit strategy is essentially a decision you're going to make based off the product, the asset, the house, the multifamily, that what you're going to do with it to put it in the hands of an end user, or the process you're going to utilize if you decide to retain it. So like we talk about fix and flips, right? To sell it would be the exit strategy. Midterm rentals, that's an exit strategy. And there's a variety of others, but it's so important that when you are looking at a property, you really keep that in mind. One of the reasons I could think of is if you look at a fix and flip, you got to make profit, financial profit for the time, right? And you dump heavy money into it. So the concept would be, I'm going to refinance and get my money back, or I'm going to sell it. But very likely for some people that have, let's say you're trying to come up with a tax strategy, making a whole lot of profit or exiting to pull your money out on the short term may not be what you're trying to get accomplished. You may be trying to grab the asset and do like a bonus depreciation, a cost segregation to knock down your personal earned income on an annual basis. I'm a man of no rich means, but I just know for me, as I'm getting closer and closer to the third quarter, right? We're actually rolling into the third quarter. I'm realizing that, this year I was fortunate enough to make $1 or $2, right? So how do I beat down my income? Well, if I buy an asset as a licensed real estate agent, I can get that cost segregation, probably squeeze out $70,000 in bonus depreciation. Do I want to cut them a check or do I want to keep my money, right? And so those are some of the things you think about. And so having full clarity on what exit strategies are and how to apply them allow you to identify projects and say, hey, this is the one for me, and this is what I'm going to do after I finish the project, right? That makes sense? So we're going to dive into the different types of exit strategies. We got, first one is the fix and flip that we just talked about, right? Zach, have you completed a complete fix and flip?
I have not, no.
Have you partnered with one?
I've kind of helped out with one, but I've never actually been involved with one from start to finish.
Okay, we're gonna accelerate that, all right? For everybody in our community, we're gonna accelerate that because we're really trying to find out how we can get into our first deal. We'd already talked about the financing. This week we're talking about the exit strategy. As we close in on the next 2 to 3 weeks, we really want to do some things with our community to make sure that we get deals going on, whether we're partnering, and we can apply a lot of the stuff that we're learning, because we can come and talk all the time, right? But it's execution, execution, execution. Gerald, how about yourself?
Yeah, I came across a deal with guys from the Housing and Urban Department,
Mm-hmm.
and it was supposed to be a buy and hold, but it became an accidental flip. I had to exit out of it. So somewhat of a flip, not really, wasn't intentional.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. What about you, Justin?
I've never been a part of a flip.
Okay, that's going to come to an end here very shortly as well. So let me dive into it like this. Fix and flips is what largely has allowed me to gain even a little bit of momentum I've ever had in real estate investing, right? And what you realize is when you get to your first flip, especially when you either put up your own capital, you have access to little capital, or you don't have these strategies, you just like kind of walking, being a blind man walking through the desert, right? That's how I was. I was just throwing money at it, selling jet skis, trying to keep funding the deal. What you find is that you acquire the property. So let's say you buy a house for $300,000 and you go hard money. They're going to want you at least put 25% down, right? So what does that make that? Is that 80 grand, about 75 grand?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to put up 70 grand for the purchase. And then on average, you're going to put 75 to 100 grand in the remodel. So that's $175,000. That's cash heavy, right? Just as quick. It's important to do that with speed, because as quick as you can get the flip done and sold, you can get your initial investment capital back, which you really want, plus you want your profit. And so when you look at a property, you really have to know and say to yourself, okay, what am I trying to do with this property? If I know that I'm in a space in my career where I've committed to flipping to gain profit, to flip to gain profits, that way I can build up a nest egg of funds, right? Then once I have those funds, I will have more elasticity to maybe do 1 or 2 flips, or if I'm doing 1 flip, I don't feel stretched on my credit cards. And the common thing I see with a lot of people, they say, I want to get in wholesaling. I want to do Airbnb. I want to do flips. I want to do long-term hold. I want to do generational wealth. And I could just speak on my testimony. It's the worst thing you could do. You got to pick one, because real estate takes a lot of money sometimes. Even if you're borrowing the money, even if you have financial partners, there's due dates on that money. They want their money back. So my encouragement to all of the community and RG Live followers is pick one. That way you can clearly identify what your strategy is going to be. You can't say I want to build generational wealth and hold and have all these assets if you only have $125,000. You bought 1 flip, all your money's into it. Now you're stopped. The money's stuck there. Okay, what are you going to do? I want to do generational wealth. You can't leverage yourself. So the strategy, very likely, like for me early on, was to scale that. Flip, put some away. Flip, put some away. Flip, put some away. And within that, I gain experience. I gain relationships. I gain confidence. I gain relationships more specifically with financial partners where I can just pick up the phone. Hey, Yeah, Kev, this is Jake. How you doing? I found a property in Sacramento I want to knock down. It's 400,000. Can you send me 200? No problem. Based off my experience, based off my relationship building. These are relationships where I would send people the photos halfway through the project, like, oh man, listen, I got it all tore out. Right on, Jake, keep it up. They've seen this journey, right? And when they seen the journey in the beginning, they said, man, that's a horrible property. You sure you're gonna be able to make it? Then I put it on the market for 450. How much you make? 80,000. I didn't know I was gonna make that much in the beginning, but that was the importance in taking people on that journey and having a very clear, concise vision of my exit strategy was important. So the beginning of my career was all fix and flip. And I stayed in that lane, I identified, and I never deviated. I lied. One time I bought a property that was supposed to be a fix and flip, and I had this creative idea to do an Airbnb, which was outside my strategy that I didn't set clear boundaries on. I was like, I'm gonna keep this one and do Airbnb. I started buying furniture. The furniture was sinking me. How I was doing the remodel went from putting it back on the market for an end user to, man, let me put a pool table in here. Let me put a game room. I started sinking all this money in. And the money was more than I thought I was going to be spending. So what happened is now I have this pool table, this gym equipment, and I have all my money in this project. And then when another opportunity came up, I couldn't move. So that's why it's so important to have a very clear idea of what your strategy is and stick to it. If you say, well, let me dive in. That, in fact, number 2 would be short-term, mid-term, long-term. So you have Airbnbs. You have you have some individuals out there that get contracts with like insurance companies for when homes burn down or travesties happen. And these people live in properties for more than 2 to 3 months, more than a week at a time, right? Which these are all great strategies. And then you have long-term as well. You have like a sober living. Those are long-term rentals. You have a business within the property. Those are great. You just have to be very clear about what you're doing. If you're not going to do the 4-month fix and flip, get your money out, pull it back out, put it in, pull it back out to build up that nest egg, understand that the second one is cash heavy and you're not pulling the money out, especially with these high interest rates. If you go buy something hard money right now, you put up the 80 grand, dump in another 80,000 into it, that's 160. That's just to get it right on the market, right? That's to get it occupiable, right? You still have to put beds in there if you're doing long term. You still have to put washing machines in there if you're doing midterm. So understand how cash intensive it is. And if that's what you want to do and you have the financial backing, do it. But understand once you sink that money in there, you have to understand where the finances and resources going to come from for you to continue to scale your business. Justin said, I just want to get to my first flip. If we're going to get into fix and flip, the first flip, that means as you're scaling them and you're looking at them, profitability on the exit is what's very, very important to you. For somebody doing a short-term business, they're probably not looking for the profit of the business. If I was doing a care home facility, if I can get it at a discount, great. But probably for me, I want 6 bedrooms or 7 bedrooms, 8 bedrooms, right? I want to put 2 beds in each bedroom. If I'm looking for a midterm Airbnb, I probably want that thing right by Sac State, right by UC Davis, right? Somewhere in Midtown Sacramento by other amenities. So location would be taken into account. The value wouldn't be on, let me try to make some money on the sale. The value is, let me position this in an area that I could put the business in and run that up. So are you kind of following me when I say that when we identify our property, we need to know our exit strategy in advance?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And let me go with Justin, because we both know Sacramento very well. Justin, anything by Doco, anything by the arena, you're not getting a discount.
No, you're paying premium top dollar, baby.
It's not even going to work out very likely if you buy it to rent it out.
Yeah, because of the interest rate.
Mortgage could be $4,000, $5,000, and you're not going to rent it out for $4,000, $5,000, right? No, so if you're buying it there for a midterm, though, if you're Airbnb-ing it, 3 nights, 4 nights a week, King players come in, graduations, then you might be able to fetch that dollar.
Yeah.
So again, keeping that in mind is what are we doing with our business for the next 12 months to 24 months? Are we trying to generate as much revenue so we can continue to scale this and do 2 and 3 flips at a time? Or are we saying, hey, listen, I have access to some capital. I have some investment partners. They want to create a business and buy property. That may be short-term rental, but what we don't do is we don't have any confusion about what we're doing on an exit, because this allows us to be very specific about where we're starting to look for a deal, because it's all about finding a good deal. And to know what is a good deal would be determined off your exit strategy. Off short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, a deal is very likely would not be profitability on sale because it's not for sale. A deal is put it right by the president's mansion. That's a good deal. Make sense? So having that type of clarity is important. Justin, you talked earlier about hotels. Gerald, you there?
Yes, sir.
When you think about wholesale, what would you identify as a good deal?
For wholesale, so a good deal would be somewhere around the 65% of ARV.
Mm-hmm.
As far as physical distress, you're looking at the ugliest house in a nice neighborhood. Even a house in the hood could be if there's an ugliest house in the hood, and everything else looks like they're all broken.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that I would usually want to go target.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, the wholesale deal is where if I could find an end buyer, the end buyer.
There you go.
Get my profit in there.
There you go.
I'm essentially going to find the property. So
there you go. There you go.
Typically, 2 contracts to take down that deal.
There you go. So that's the cool thing about wholesaling. It could be a bit convoluted because there's so many different activities in it, and different wholesalers do have different activities and strategies. But wholesaling, the standard for wholesaling is going to be very different from fix and flip and short-term, mid-term, long-term rental, because wholesaling, you have one thing in mind. Can I find an end user and make profit? Can I make 10? Can I make 20? Can I make 60? Right? So the price, condition, or the location doesn't make a difference. Right here, this is location, right? Fix and flip is taking in the profitability in mind, but the risk in mind, right? There's some heavy lifting with this flip. Do I have to replace the foundation? Was the roof shot out? Was the house on fire? Things of that nature. You have to take in the responsibility and understand, do I have the capital to throw at it, be able to hold on to the carrying costs, and then do I have the right talent and team to put the deal through, right? But when you look at wholesaling, Justin, because you were mentioning that earlier, with wholesaling, you have no responsibilities. You're signing a contract. So I don't care where the location is. I don't care the condition. I don't care I do care about the price. That's the only thing I care about. Can I tie this up in contract and then give it to Zach and say, Zach, can you do something with this? You want this contract? Do you want this house? Do you want to flip it? You're predominantly working with other flippers, so you have to leave meat on the bone. But there's very, very little risk with it. So your box of what you need to do with wholesaling is all about profitability. Not so much about timing, not so much about location, but understanding that in advance is very, very important. Because some people, I see them lock up wholesale deals. Oh, it's sweet, it's in Lodi. Oh, it's sweet, it's in Lodi. There's no money to be made on the bone. There's no meat on the bone. So before they put all that energy into tying up that deal and trying to market it and then locking up sellers so a seller really can't do anything else, why do that if you didn't do your numbers, right? Because it's a quick play, but a great play. Then we got the Burr method. What's the Burr method, Zach?
Buy, rehab, refinance, repeat.
That's right. There's one more R in there. There's a rent. It's funny. Right. It's funny because I hear the 3 R's and the 4 R's: buy, remodel, rent, refinance, repeat. You familiar with that, Justin? Right?
Yeah. You're gonna need some credit and some money to do it, and some knowledge as well, because you implementing almost every strategy in one. You come at it like a wholesaler when you're looking for the deal, also like a fix and flipper. But you're going to be using your finances, your team to do everything, and have to be able to underwrite the deal in your mind before you're able to actually implement the strategy. So I believe it's probably one of the best strategies for people. If you have the money, like you're speaking of, you have to plan your exit strategy before you even get into the deal. But ultimately, my goal will be able to do a lot of birds and create that generational wealth once I get everything in order.
Justin giving a sermon today. Justin dropping jewels today. He hit it on a couple different things, right? That's good, Justin. You're so right about that. You're accurate, because And a lot of what you're saying is that the Bird method is sophisticated. There's a lot of levels to it. The wholesale, it's a quick pump fake and a shot, right? Very hard to screw it up. And if it doesn't work, you just cancel the contract. But with the Bird method, you got to buy it right. And buying it right is the price, condition, and the location. All of those have to be nestled in. And you have to have the right financial terms. So the interest rates have to work in your favor on the entry and on the refinance. Then you have to have these skill sets of remodeling. You have to be able to get this done not only quickly because you don't want all the holding costs, but you also have to get it done right because you're going to be putting a renter in it. And if you're going to put your property manager hat on, what you know is when you buy this asset, some of the things you need to do is make sure you get that roof done, make sure you get the AC done. You need to stabilize this asset so you don't have to keep touching it. Any good property manager or landlord or long-term holder would know that. So can you buy it at a discount, fix it at a discount, but fix it right at a discount, right? And then you dive into the rental component. And that's all we all know from California, that there's landlord-tenant laws that make it very, 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 very difficult to rent, right? Do you want to go Section 8? Do you want to go on the open market? What type of deposit do you want to take? Do you have the confidence after putting a brand new roof and a brand new AC and brand new flooring that these people aren't going to knock your walls out and screw up your floor that would really interrupt? That's where the risk comes from. It really interrupts your larger projection that you have less control over, right? And then when you refinance, what are rates? Rates seem to be jumping up and down. I guess over the last couple of weeks, they've softened up a little bit, but rates have been historically high for at least the last 18 months. And rates make it very difficult for you to refinance in a manner that will give your rental and mortgage at least a break-even analysis, because these items need to be in good neighborhoods. So with low inventory, the competition for a good home that's rentable, you might want to buy a school if you want 3 or 4 bedrooms so you can give it to a family, right? Because those are long-term tenants, but also they come at risk because they can screw it up. Can you achieve all of these things, which actually make it complicated? I think I've heard the Burr method be flipped around like a rap verse so frequently. But when you start asking people, like, have they ever done one? Very few. You got Dash Nguyen that's done several of them and a few other players, but they've been able to leverage their cash plays on the purchase. So if it's worth 300 on the market, they can come in at 180 cash, 190 cash, and just write a whole bunch of offers. Write 100, get 2 accepted, and then be able to do that math. But in this market with such low inventory, you can have cash all you want. For me, I just went pending on one of my own personal properties. I had 2 cash offers, but the FHA offer, which I had to go through an appraisal, I was okay with that. It was 20,000 more. I'll wait 30 days. We got cash. We can close in 7. I don't care. I'm going with this 20 in another 30 days, right? And so that's just how it goes. So in this market, you see that very less likely. And then it's the repeat. So that's the scalable model of that process. And again, as Justin was saying, and I'm sure you guys all know, that it's not very scalable in this market. That's why this Deal Master is all about community, because what happens is you would say, Jacob, why do you have this program, right? Well, nobody was giving me the game when I first got in, but that's not an excuse. What happens is when you have a tighter community, what happens is you get to whisper to each other and tell them, hey, I got this deal. Hey, I got this deal. Hey, I got this deal. And any of the wholesaling companies that I've seen, any real teams that I saw making really big moves, I've been in real estate since 2016, really big moves, they had a squad. They had a group of people that were staying collective, right? And also sharing knowledge. And it happens to be that Justin can be navigating the Sacramento market and say, man, I found something off market, but you got to move fast. By connecting with 3 or 4 people in this group alone, one person has the finances, one person's ready to go. And if you can partner up like that with people you know, like, and trust, and you spend time with, you find yourself making some more money, right? And so would you rather take 50% of something or 0% of something, right? Meaning that by leveraging skill sets and opportunities and access to deals, you find yourself having more forward progress. And also learning too. So that's good. do me a favor. What I would like to know as I move this forward is you have cash flow, and then you have a long-term play. So like a buy and hold, right? What would be, no, let me say it like this. What would you rather have? Would you rather have cash flow or depreciation? I like that one better. Cash flow or depreciation. So looking at a property, Justin, you said you're trying to dive into your first one. Ruby, welcome in. Ruby, Justin. Justin is a new member to the community. Ruby's been in the community for some time. Justin's out of Sacramento. He's been a phenomenal real estate agent. He's diving into investing and looking for his first deal, and that's why he's here. Great guy. All right. But what I want to know is, I want you guys to think about something, because at the end of this session, what I'm going to ask you is, which one has more value for you? The ability to have depreciation in the asset, or the ability to have cash flow? All right. If you guys could write it down at the end, we'll kind of just discuss that, do a little bit of Q&A. So we looked at the exit strategies. All right. Of the exit strategies, Justin, what do you think is the best one for you?
Well, right now, for me, the best one would be to do wholesaling or partner with someone on a fix and flip. Just because right now I'm trying to grow my capital and also experience. And as you said before, making the right connections is important in this industry. Coming at it from a wholesale / fix and flip position, you're going to be talking to the right people that you need to build the relationships with. I don't have the knowledge or the capital to take a deal on myself, a big deal. So I need to, start in the wholesale / trying to find a fix and flip, and maybe, partner with someone on it.
Now, what do you think is holding you up from your first fix and flip?
Really, I just need to start marketing for that, start doing driving for dollars and looking at the MLS and trying to find things, networking with you guys to see what would be your approach to it. Because, like I said, I'm new to it. I'm coming at it from a realty perspective, a retail perspective, excuse me. So, I need to change it into that investor hat. So that's, the approach of how do I market to find the right properties so that we can move forward and make a deal make sense.
We did a session last week or 2 weeks ago on the importance of creating a realtor.com account, right? And knowing your backyard. What part of South Sac did you grow up in?
Over off 47, Foreign, Mac Road, pretty much the south. Yeah. Okay, so what I would do is I would create a realtor.com account for yourself, because I know you create like prospector accounts for your clients, right? And more specifically, be very, very clear of a zip code in particular, and set up the alerts. That way, realtor.com is sending you what's coming on the market. And you should have, well, let me ask you this. Do you know the approximate average sale price of homes in that neighborhood? Broad neighborhood. Let's pick Florin, right? In the Florin neighborhood, do you know the average per price sale of homes out in that area? Depending on bedroom bath count, but it's going to be anywhere from 375 to 425.
Okay. And that's for like a 3-2?
Yeah, 3-2 it'll probably be closer to 4 to 425.
Okay, let's go at 400, because as investors we always got to be a little bit conservative, right? So if you see homes on average being sold at 400, what do you think you would need to be purchasing something for in regards to a flip to have enough leverage and profitability? Just a guess.
Well, I mean, 65 to 70% of that, if we're talking about repairs and everything. Oh shit!
Take your time.
Around 300 is what I'll be looking at.
Okay, so watch this. You would be all in at 300, because imagine this: if you purchased at 300,
right,
that would include the improvements, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. So then you can make about $100,000. You factor in closing costs, realtor fees. So I could imagine already. I don't think that anything around that area would be your purchase wouldn't be anything more than even 225, depending on the scope of the work, right? Because you have realtor fees, you have holding costs, you have closing costs, right? And then you have some improvements. So what I would be doing is on my realtor.com account, I'll be setting up the parameters for 3 2s because those are the ones that sell fast. 2 1s and 3 1s, they always struggle because people want 2 bathrooms, right? So I would be seeing what's how they're trading, how fast they're trading, right? The condition, because you want to know the standard. Because as you're keeping your ears to the ground and you find one and you hop on, you say, Zach, I found a flip. You want to go 50-50 partners? You're going to need, because Zach's not from South Sac, right? You're going to need to say, Zach, can you come up with the liquid? Zach's going to say yes, right? But now your responsibility is you have to be able to be very clear about what that flip needs to look like. What are other things looking like as far as flips? Is it complete bathroom guts? Is it tiles? Is it chimneys wrapped? Is it stuccoed? Is it brand new roofs? Are we putting candy paint on the grass? Whatever it shall be, because that's your backyard. And so the benefit of locking in on a zip code, locking in on a strategy, locking in on a zip code. I see too many people move like this. We got to tighten up on everything we do, right? Locking up on a strategy, locking up on a zip code. That zip code, you're going to see the patterns of what things look like. So when you call Zach and say, hey, you want to go half on this deal? You want to make something happen? Zach should be able to ask you, okay, well, what are we going to do? Oh, I can already tell you. I can tell you what it's going to look like for this property to sell in 5 days because I've been watching this market for so long. Once we put it on the market like this with some granite countertops, with some marble backsplash, these people are going to go crazy. Then there's cultural behaviors as well, because when you look at the Florida area, it happens to be largely Asian Americans, right? Or the culturally heavy. A lot of Asians populate that area. Beautiful thing. What do the Asian consumer look at? Some of them don't believe that houses should be faced certain types of ways. Oftentimes, culturally, they will not buy a home if somebody died in it. Now, let me speak about me. You could die, fly, and cry in the house. I'll buy it. I'll buy it, right? But if you're not careful and you're focusing in an area like that, you're like, oh, I got this deal. It's $200,000. The comps are $425. It only needs $60,000. Maybe one of the things you didn't think about is that the reason why you thought it was a deal, because it is cheap, is because in the community that it's in, nobody would live in the house, right? Yeah. If there was many years ago during the 08 crisis that some of the homes got broken into, the vacant homes, and some kids got kidnapped and hurt in the home, right? And I knew a guy that bought 2 homes on the street. He was never able to really sell those homes because he didn't have that data in advance. But if you're keeping your ear to the streets and a grassroots perspective on what's going on in a specific area, you master it. You know what's going on. You know the agents that are servicing the neighborhood. You know who's double ending deals, and that's how you get in front of them. But that was a session. We have it recorded too, but that comes to mind as you're telling me the areas you want to focus on. Zach, what you got for me?
Kind of like what Justin was saying, I'd say of all the ones we talked about, probably fix and flip has kind of been something I've been interested in, and I kind of felt would be my best approach. One,
right.
To slowly, I know that you don't necessarily need because you can find partners and you can raise the capital and things like that, but to have the money, like you were saying earlier, for future relationships, because the more, as you build capital, you're also gaining experience.
Right.
And as you gain that experience, later down the road, someone's going to be able to call you, hey, I got a deal. Or you're going to be able to call somebody else and go, hey, I got a deal, but I need 150, I need 200, I need this, I need that. And they're going to be able to be like, okay, I know I've seen this guy around. I've seen him do deals in his area, in this area, all right, cool, fine, let's do it. Right. So I kind of have that same mindset of fix and flip is kind of where I see it benefiting me most of all of them. And then later, and then obviously wholesale kind of ties into fix and flip. They're almost in a sense hand in hand. Because, say you get a deal and say maybe you feel like it might be too much for you or it's something you're not quite, maybe it's not really in your backyard or in an area where you're comfortable or something like that. Then you find somebody who is and you go, hey, can you do some of this? Right. This one? Cool. And then, you kind of, and then doing that in a sense, you're creating another partnership with somebody. Right. You're then creating another go, oh, this guy just brought me a deal, so maybe next time when they get a deal that might be in your area,
right?
Or they get a lead that's in your area, they're going to call you and be like, hey, you gave me that deal one time in my neighborhood.
Relationships.
Yep.
Relationship. Matter of fact, I'm going to dovetail into that really quick. Ruby and Gerald, I want you to both get ready because I'm going to ask you the same question about what your strategy is. We have a ton of people on our Instagram Live. I want to let them know that if they have a question in regards to exit strategy, go ahead and put it in the comment section below. And once we get finished up with the community, we'll address those questions and see how we can mastermind and go deeper with that. Zach, what I wanted to tell you is you triggered me because one thing I do want to say, I got love for all you guys, right? And I'm one of those people, if you lock in with me, you lock in with me. I never switch up. Justin said wholesaling early on. I was like, right? Not that I'm a wholesale hater, but I was like, Justin, no, we're flipping. But that might just be because me and him have mutual friends. So I'm naturally trying to say, no, Justin, this is what we got to do. Right? But I can never let my beliefs overshadow somebody else's own journey. So that's why I just put it on a platter like this and just fed it. And however somebody consumes it, they consume it. But now I want to have the opportunity to back up and make some clarity. You can tell I'm flip biased, okay? Naturally, because that has been my testimony and my success. But to what Justin said and what was Zach just saying, so we're picking our strategy, whatever it shall be. Zach, you said flipping. Justin, you said flipping as well. I know Gerald and Ruby will come in as well. That doesn't mean when I say we have to be tight on our zip codes, tight on our strategy. If Justin, if you do find one and you can lock it up at 225, right? And then you can bring it to Zach and say, hey, I don't want to flip it, Zach, but look, just give me 10,000. Let's do a double close or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that at all, right? So that is wholesaling to an extent. It's not a wholesaling business, but what we're trying to do and what I encourage you guys do is, so you want to get the laps up, the experience up, and the capital up. Because when you dive into these deals, you start sinking money. And you have to have reserves. That's what'll keep you afloat. And what I don't want any of you guys to experience is what I've experienced. Being deep in a deal, thinking it's over. Oh man, I still have so much more to get done and I'm out of money. And I didn't, when I got in real estate, I didn't understand the 100% financials. I didn't understand how money moved, right? So it was just me. I was chucking off cars, chucking off boats, chucking off jet skis. I was doing some crazy stuff to get the deal done. I'm glad I went to that type of university, right? Because it gave me the information I need to be able to share with my community and also scale my business. I'm not crying about my experiences, but I will caution you guys, even with the right financing, you still need money because you're dumping money in this and then you have a whole household you got to take care of. You're dumping money in this and then you have MLS dues you got to take care of. You're dumping money in this and your transmission goes out in your car, right? These things really, really happen. And so staying elastic as possible and liquid as possible as an investor is the key to the game. If you stay liquid, you'll last, right? So Justin, I want to say I'm not a wholesale hater. I buy property from wholesalers, but we're here, okay? We're flipping, we're staying consistent. We're using flipping to create that money because you're a real estate agent. Now you're creating your own inventory. When you buy a property, flip a property, guess what? I got a listing. Hey, it's just when if you want to buy this property, go and give me a call. You've created your own inventory. So for you to pivot and say, hey, I want to create a wholesale business. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying those aren't really cousins. So now you need a whole new skill set and maybe even staff. Right? But if you're just flipping and you're finding these deals and you're making 10 off and we'll take that 10,000, we'll put it up. And then keep trying to scale and find that property that you can partner with somebody to get done. And as you're going through that first flip, they bring the capital, you find the deal and do some of the activities, right? And we do the deal. All right, we're doing it. Justin, look, man, I just found out the whole roof is shot, brother. And I probably won't have the money for 2 or 3 weeks to get this done because I did not know this was going to happen. Did you get a roof quote? Yeah, I did. They want $17,000. All right, don't worry about it. I'll pay for the roof and we'll just put the bill through escrow. What are you talking about? Don't worry about it. I got it. We're going to get it over the hill. Oh, my Lord. Where'd the 17 come from? A wholesale deal that you put that 10 up, now we're liquid because these things happen. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. They happen all the time. And that's how you become a success. And when you take advantage of more of the wins and protect the money, you'll step over the surprises and hurdles like this. And that's how you win. Because one bad move in real estate, I seen it wipe people out. 17 grand on a roof, wipe somebody out. They get stressed out, holding costs increase, can't satisfy the loan, on the market longer. They say, all right, look, I'm gonna just paint and put it on the market. Nobody wants the property. It's just a series of very bad decisions. So having very much clarity with our exit strategy, right? And being very, very clear about our backyard, understanding our backyard, and doing the activities that remain to keep us liquid, which is not really an exit strategy, but was important that I share with you guys. That's how you win. Ruby, what's your exit strategy?
My exit strategy would be buy and flip. But right now, like you said, I have to get my capital up first, and I want to get my experience in.
Hold on, Ruby. We did not talk about capital up.
I mean, to have something, you know.
Yes. I'm only coming for you, Ruby, because you said, man, look, I want to get in real estate investing, but I don't have all the capital. I don't have enough money, right? And we spoke last week that there are financial partners out there. So I want you to get that out of your head. What I was just me and Justin was going at was not so much about finding enough capital. We were just talking about being financially responsible as a whole.
Yes. Right.
And not skipping over the opportunity, because I came down heavy on wholesale. I didn't come down heavy. I was gearing him towards flips, and we talked about wholesaling. And so I had to double back and say, hey, if you find a deal, because we're in deal management, we're finding deals. And if you find a deal and you say, hey, I don't have the time, resources, or the financial partner yet to do it, but Justin, if you and Gerald want this deal, do you mind cutting me a check for 10?
Absolutely.
Right? There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is, if you're saying you're going to be a wholesaler, we'll have a different conversation, and that's great. But if you're saying you're going to be a flipper, we're doing flip activities. And it's so important to stay disciplined in whatever strategy you say. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but add a clarity. What's your strategy?
Fix and flip.
Fix and flip. So as a fix and flipper, everything you are doing is in the fix and flip realm, whatever that means. We got to write that down and get clear about it. But if next week you say, hey, you know what, I was hanging out with some wholesalers and I'm gonna start wholesaling, I would say, I'm so confused. You got to pick one, right? I'm so confused.
No, I don't want to do wholesaling. That's fine.
And I know you don't. I was using you as an example. So from fix and flips, that's what you're going to commit to. You said that there's a financial component and there's an experiential component. Now, under that umbrella, staying disciplined, now we have to move forward with an actionable step. So which one are you going to pick first? I would pick one. Keep it simple. The KISS strategy. Keep it simple, stupid. I think that's what to say. But what I'm saying is, if it's experience, then how do you attack experience? If it's finance, then how do you attack finance? If it's finding deals, then how do you attack finding deals? So my question is, if I was coaching, I am coaching, forget it. No, let's not even assume. Of those three, which one are you going to focus on this week? Is it finding a deal? Is it finding finances? Is it getting experience? What I would do, I would be looking for a deal. Because if you find a deal, I can tell you 100% Gerald's going to take it down. Zach will take it down. Justin very likely will take it down. Justin's looking for a partner. I can tell you this for sure. So if you find a deal, right, that improves your practice at finding deals, boom, once you assign it to Gerald or anyone else, that makes you some money. So that's the financial component. And the experience of it is, once Gerald takes down the deal, you say, Gerald, when are you going to the property? Okay, I'll be there Friday. Gerald, I brought coffee. So how's it going? I just made 10 grand. Now I get to watch you go through your process. I get this Harvard education and you paid me for it. And Gerald doesn't mind you paying you for it. So be very clear. That's why I see people say, I'm wholesaling, I'm flipping, I'm robbing banks. I'm like, what is it? What are you doing, right? Everything we do, just stay home, right here. And what you find is the progress you make in 6 months. It actually makes sense, and it's very, very simple. You sell Gerald the deal, you make 10, and then you pull up with coffee. I mean, I don't know anything better than that. Now, as you're watching him scale his property, You can record it. You can watch. You can ask, hey, Gerald, how much are those baseboards? Let me write my little notes right here. Why would Gerald lie to you or not? He might give you a whole dissertation. You might look, Gerald, I don't even know that much information. I just want to know baseboard. He will give it all to you. You're not going to be able to go to any other community or anybody else and walk you through it. They'll misguide you, or they won't give you the information because they think you're a competitor. But you know, our community, we're not haters, we're congratulators, right? So these are some of the things I'm thinking about. Okay, I want you to pick deal, the debt. What was the other one? Finding a deal, improving financial relationships, or experience. Write those 3 things down and pick the one you're going to focus on for the next 3 weeks. Gerald, what you got?
I'm coming in with cash flow. I'm in a season of my career right now where I can't take down any property because I don't have the capital, right? So I'm working on being more liquidable.
Gerald?
You mentioned the word
Gerald, you're not telling the truth, Gerald. Gerald's not telling the truth. Look, hey, I'm gonna tell you guys, Gerald is a phenomenal person, phenomenal father, phenomenal husband. This is the first time I've ever heard him lie, okay? Gerald does have capital. Look, I always tell people, I don't have money, but my homeboys do. So listen, if my homeboy has a Mercedes-Benz, I have one, all right? He drives it during the week, I'm driving it on Saturday, okay? So Gerald, yes, you do have access to capital. That's not your problem. We even spoke earlier this week about a deal, right? Okay, can I dive in deep, Gerald?
Of course.
All right, because I got 2 minutes on this, right? So Gerald hit me earlier this week. He found a deal, right? First thing he called me, said, Jake, man, I found this deal. We were talking a little bit, and I was just trying to get clarity of how I can support him. Did he want me to go look at the property? Did he want me to analyze it? He said, no, listen. If I get it tied up and get us a good deal, can you put the money up? I said, yeah. I said, Gerald, I don't got the money, but I know somebody that does. And one phone call, they'll fund it. So it's my understanding after we hung with the phone, Gerald, that you thought that when I said, yes, I'll fund it, that you believed me.
Yeah.
So when you say we don't have money, I'm so confused.
What I mean by that, more so for scaling the business, but also like personal finance.
Okay, personals. And the personal is, I got you there. That's so important. And I'm glad you even expelled that vulnerability because as I was saying earlier, Justin, these light bills and stuff gotta happen. That transmission, if it goes out, how you gonna flip? Right? I'm a Uber to baseboard to you, Jake. Hang tight. I'm Ubering, no Ubering, right? Nah, that's not gonna get it. But you're right. Having that level of liquidity to take care of your personal finances allow you to progress, but also it allows you to be mentally healthy and cover the cost because this business can be expensive. So you're right about that, Gerald. And you're working on some activities to just get some peanuts in the pipeline so you can have a continuously grow your nest egg and continuously be able to have enough reserves supposing something happens. You're calculated.
Yes, sir.
I respect it.
Just like with you with the realtor side, man, it's that today money I'm trying to bring in.
Yeah. You got it, Gerald. You got it. I mean, you guys all got it. I happen to be able to spend a little bit more personal time with Gerald, and so he has it. He has the sauce, and he's Justin. Make sure that you follow all these players on IG. Matter of fact, Justin, do me a favor. Put your IG in the comment section. I'll make sure they follow you. You're gonna want to stay connected with them. I think I have a few questions from IG that I want to answer. Give me 2 seconds. All right, so we're good to go. So let's go over a few things. So we went over exit strategies, right? We went over fix and flip. We went over long-term, short-term, mid-term rentals. We went over wholesaling. We went over just simply holding the property, right? Those are all good strategies. But I asked you a question earlier about depreciation or cash flow. Gerald, you go first. What you got? I think you kind of answered it, but I wanted to hear it one more time.
Yeah, cash flow.
Cash flow. Why cash flow?
Because I want to be able to scale up my businesses right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got my back against the wall. So as far as personal and like the business expenses, I need to hedge myself against all that.
And when you say cash flow, you're talking about from an asset, correct?
No, from fix and flip and wholesale business.
Okay, for sure. Got you. Justin, depreciation or cash flow?
I would say cash flow. When you ask depreciation or cash flow, when I'm hearing it, it's like when you say depreciation, for me, that's like do your taxes is what I'm thinking about.
You got it.
So for me, I can take a little bit more money in before I worry about my taxes. We in the IRS, we'll come up with a plan together so that we.
Hey, guys, he's from Sacramento. Trust me, I know he's not lying. All right.
We got a plan coming.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, for sure. Right now, I would say cash flow, but ultimately, the goal is to be worrying about my assets because I make so much money, so that I can get into that depreciation. So.
Yep. Ruby, what do you got? Cash flow or depreciation?
Cash flow.
Cash flow. Why?
Just so I could be able to scale.
Good.
My business. Just like Gerald said too, I'm like not in the best financial situation, so I want to like do that so that I can do my best at my craft, which is real estate.
Well, and that's the most beautiful thing. Even when I hear you guys make a decision, don't think that real estate Jake knows everything. I don't know. I barely know anything. Right? I'm learning how to read right now. Actually, it provides so much more clarity for some of my activities, and it double downs on the importance for me of cash flow. It's so important, but even for me, it gets a little further away sometimes, right? Because you start to play with things. I want this, right? I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna go to lunch. What do I want for lunch? You go back and forth. But for me, the takeaway is just how much more important cash flow is for me. Zach, what do you got?
I would agree with everyone else and say cash flow. Only because when you're doing cash flow, like fix and flip, things like that, that automatically comes with experience and those relationships that we were talking about. So to me, cash flow is way more important than depreciation, because like Justin was saying, I don't really make enough money at the moment to be worried about my taxes and writing a lot of it off, because there's not a ton of it coming in the first place. So really pushing those cash flow fix and flip activities is what's my priority.
And let me dive into that, because what you'll find is this. You'll hear people tell you, because all of you talked about the fix and flip model, right? And you'll hear a lot of people say, well, you're going to pay capital gains. You're going to pay capital gains. You're going to pay capital gains. That's the one common thing you'll see as you grow in this. You start doing a flip and you're telling somebody, yeah, I'm going to put it on the market. They're going to say, what? You're going to pay taxes on it. Yes, I know. But if I worked a 9 to 5, I'd be paying taxes on that. I don't understand what's the problem with paying taxes. Being in real estate investing, there's so many different strategies that we'll go over on another live, in which you just navigate those taxes like double dutch. It's easier than cutting butter, right? But more than anything, yes, we are aware we're paying taxes. We are aware that we have risk. We are aware that we are putting in work and sacrifice. We're aware of all of that, okay? Whatever else you got put in the package, we'll take it. But when we look at cash flow, what happens is it's easy for somebody to say, I have 185 doors and this and that and this and that, and I pay no taxes and I'm holding, I don't sell anything. Okay, that's great. I'm glad that's for you. But where I'm at, I need to get this snowball of finances together so I can take care of some past bills, create and grow my business currently, and be able to have enough money so I can leverage time, leverage resources, and also get the confidence of saying, hey, I have what it takes and I'm doing this again and again and again. Now, your whole career, you won't always be selling. You won't always be flipping. You will get to a stage where you hold. But I'll double down one more thing that they don't tell you. Even when you do hold, you don't make any money. You don't make any money. You put up 120,000, right, on a $400,000 house, 20% plus a little bit more, right, some closing costs. And what do you make right now? $200 in cash flow? No, give me the 120,000. Because my strategy, I do hold if I get a really good deal, right? But for me, I know that there will be better times with lower interest rates and people not prepared. Also, people not having the information of how to scale flips. So what we're doing right now is we're in the University of Education, Information, and Confidence, increasing this snowball, right? Getting very good at what we're doing, building these relationships. And when there's wake up, hello, man, the market's different. Nobody's buying. Oh, don't worry, I'll buy that. So whether I buy now or later, that's not going to make me rich. So you're not missing out on holding something right now. The opportunity cost of leaving your money or not educating yourself or not getting into real estate investing, that would be a very big loss. That would be a bankruptcy. But don't let anybody try to tell you that holding property is all this or all that, man. True story. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I just had a full blowout with a tenant that was freaking doing drugs and alcohol on one of my properties, and he stole. I had a garage at one of these properties I have, and I store some of my material for my projects. Man, this guy stole, the can lights, 6 in a box. I'm paying like $200 from or something like that. I had these were stacked to the ceiling, right? Vanities, sinks, gold sinks, faucets. This dude broke into the garage while he was standing at this property and stole everything. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. And it doesn't make a difference, but the number is more than 20,000 that was in there. I'm giving you guys a complete vulnerability. These things happen. So if you think that real estate flipping and renting a long term is all this and all that, it's hard to keep insurance out here. Why do I share that vulnerability with you? Because it's important for you to know that you have one thing to do. Know your zip code, know your backyard, know how to flip, know the relationships, and know how to snowball this money and put some money away. That way we can weather the storm. That's it. Let everybody talk. Listen, if we don't own any property, we have less risk anyways. We just want the money. We want the money. And if everything falls tomorrow, look, you guys keep it. We have our cash. We're not out there right now. And so it's so much more important for you to understand what your strategy is. You're not keeping property right now because you're stacking your money. You're not keeping money right now because you're growing relationship. You're not keeping property right now because you are trying to gain the confidence to rest assured that you can do this at scale and minimize your risk. And so that's what it's all about. All right. And if anybody tells you anything different, then tell them hop online and let's debate. All right. So we're coming to an end, right? The takeaway I want you all to walk away with this week is having a very clear strategy of what you're all doing. I think everybody agreed on the fix and flip. But the question you have to ask yourself, leaving this live and as we get into next week, is from fix and flip, what are you going to do? Ruby says she's going to find deals. Gerald has deals. He's negotiating deals. Gerald's on the cusp of some great things. He's moving forward, right? Justin and Zach, what is it going to take for you to get to level 1 of your commitment to your fix and flip journey? And you can answer the question to us, or you can answer it to yourself. Gotta find a deal.
Something. Keep driving. I was just driving around this morning, so I'm gonna go skip trace some contact information, and I'm gonna find a deal. That's my priorities.
Justin,
finding something. Finding a deal.
Justin, find a deal, brother. That's all it's about. Find a deal. Let everything else hang out, all right? Just find a deal. Let's get good at finding deals. Hey, we're winding the 10 o'clock session. I appreciate you guys for popping in. IG, I appreciate you as well. DM me Deal Mastery 101 if you're going to hop in the school channel as well. If you guys have any questions for the Deal Mastery course, or you guys want to give any input, go ahead and put it in the comment section, right? Let's stay engaged. I got some really good stuff coming for us over the next 2 and 3 weeks. But short of that, let's find some deals. Let's grind. Let's have a good week.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you all. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Right on. See you soon. Oh shit, I'm gonna do that. Hey, how you doing? Grinding. I know I switched up with you last night. I ended up staying up in Livermore. So I was trying to figure out, like, do I blast out there 6 o'clock in the morning? What do I do? What's your schedule like? Okay. I'm out here now. I'm just doing some recording. I can blast out there and get you. Can you hear me? What time do you think you'll be done? Okay. All right. Let me get adjusted and get a few things done before I hop on the road. I'll pop out there. I'll grab you. And we'll head up there. I think I'll beat you at 12. Sound good? All right, perfect. Let me just move a few things around and then I'll be on my way. All right.